So I first learned about you when Cynthia Lee recommended one of your videos. And at the end, I heard you say this word that I had never heard before, Haola, three times. Can you tell me what the sound expresses and how you might translate it into English?
Yes. So yeah, first of all, Cynthia is such an inspirational story, able to recover from all these chronic or even medically incurable conditions. And as a physician, so and the term we use is Haola. Actually, I want everybody to feel it in your body right now if you're listening, feeling it. Yeah. It's really kind of energetic vibration, but also it's energetic information. It's one of the most powerful way for us to access energy, its frequency, its intention, its power, and benefit come out of that. So again, let me do the sound for a few times so you can feel it in your body. Haola, haola, haola. So when I'm making the sound, I naturally feel good, feel so energized, even feel so happy, and feel the deeper meaning I'll explain to everybody later on. But energetically, what that does is not only just vibration, awakening the energy of your body, but also the tongue movement, making the sound, generating certain tongue movement that causing the energetic circulation in the body is called microcosmic orbit. Is activated. So specifically when the tongue la is touching the upper palate and activating that circulation of energy. So that is the energetic secret. I'm giving the secret first.
Yeah.
And changing the energy, shifting the energy inside of you by making the sound itself. Okay. So then the meaning. So the spelling, you ask me about the spelling is like Haola. That's close enough. Haola. So how means all is well. Yeah. La means so be it. Yeah. But we're using this more than just common meaning of all is well. It means two meaning. Yeah. First is all is well in what that means is in the oneness of energy, oneness of the universe, oneness of life in general, beyond our story, beyond our label, beyond our comparison, good and bad, right, wrong, shouldn't, and everything. The universe is basically unfolding its own perfect way. From the point view of the universe, everything exists in the universe is just perfect as the way it is. Only human being, oh, this is bad. We perceiving this is bad, this is good, this is right, this is wrong, this shouldn't happen, this should happen, right?
Yeah.
That's our human experience. But from the point of view of the universe, everything existing, everything happening is just the way it is. Just perfect in the way it is. So that's the first meaning.
And,
It's
and
shocking when we're pointing out that, yeah.
and you can say this at the worst. I mean, what if I'm having the worst day of my life
Yeah,
and something
right.
horrible has happened?
So here's a paradox, okay? So now, you may start thinking, oh, yeah, that makes sense. From the universe point of view, everything is happening in the perfect way they should be. There's no such thing as right, wrong, good or bad, should or shouldn't. It's just
Yeah.
happening. Part of the creation, part of life, right?
Yeah.
But on the other hand, the paradox is in the context of a human being, we're continuously learning, we're continuously evolving, we continuously, to, let's say, living fully in our life. Yeah. It's really about realizing our potential as human being. That is what we're here for. Yeah, you continuously discovering your potential over the time. Your perspective might be different. When you're a teenager, you're thinking, oh, what I'm going to realize, when I get grown up, go to school, have best job, whatever, That's kind of one way of discovery. Then when you're getting older, then you're discovering your potential, your purpose, slight different perspective. But anytime when you're asking your question, why I'm here? As a human being, what do you want to do? Beyond what do you want to do? What is your true purpose here? Then realizing the deeper question is, what is your true potential as a human being?
How do I apply that all is well frame to my true potential, to this question?
That's what I'm going to say. The next meaning is, in this given time, this moment, today, at any stage of your life, how you can awakening to this oneness of life. In this process of awakening to this oneness, you are realizing your potential, or you're moving towards your full potential. Let me put this way. That makes sense?
Yeah.
So as expression, as a direct experience of that, is your mind, body, heart, spirit awakening to the oneness. That is the improvement. That is the direct experience in the relative dimension, from imperfection towards perfection. That movement is the next meaning of Haola. It's getting better. It's getting better. It's not like, okay, everything's fine, everything's perfect. You're not learning anything, not improving anything. You're not making your own conscious choice anymore. That is quite the opposite. So this is the paradox. In the absolute dimension, everything is perfect. In the relative dimension, especially as I'm existing in this moment as a human being, I have a greater potential to discover, to realize my purpose. So that is the process of Haola. It's getting better. My mind, body, heart, spirit, it's getting better by awakening to the oneness. And that's involved with that recognition, but also more importantly, involved with the practice. Your choice, your practice is moving you towards that process of getting better, this process of awakening to oneness.
So you're awakening to the bigger picture of all being well, even as you have your stories in your mind that maybe all is not well.
Right. So not just the perspective of getting well, the direct experience of everything is perfect.
Yeah.
So not just the mental label of all is well. It's about the direct experience. For example, slow the new choice, new awareness, new practice I'm doing. I'm awakening the energy in my brain to the oneness. I'm awakening the energy of the heart to oneness. I'm awakening the energy of the entire body to the oneness. Then all the function of my body, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, start to improving itself. Start returning to the most optimum function possible. And that is getting better. That's the process of getting better. But the wholeness of my energy system itself, the essence itself, is beyond the label of good and bad.
It's really more than the label. It's moving beyond the labels that we have into a different perspective, shifting how you view the world and how you view your place in it.
More than that, it's like this. Different layers of perceptions, okay? So different layers of perception. In the absolute layers, everything is just perfect. But you have to perceive that in that level of perception. If you're not in that perception, then you cannot experience that way. We are here. We are in a relative perception. So we're experiencing everything good, bad, right, down, right, wrong, shoulda, shouldn't, complaining about life, the imperfection of life. That's in that perceptional level, it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Okay? But from that level of perception, a different level of existence you can perceive is beyond this level. On that level of perception, on that level of existence, is everything is perfect already. But if your perception is in this level, you cannot perceive here. So in that sense, from that perception level, when you say this is perfect, it's only a label. But if you are in this perception, then it's perfectly real, perfectly true. Everything is perfect. But most time, our perception is here. Okay? So we need to allow this perceived existence match to this level of perception, or moving towards. The more accurate words is the movement. It's not a mental thing, yes or no. It's about this movement. Your experience is moving from this relative dimension towards the absolute dimension. Then in this movement, you're experiencing the improvement of the relative dimension of how we function in our life, how we interact in our life. Does that make more sense now?
It does. And tell me if this makes sense. I was so preparing for this conversation, I went into the woods, and there was this moment where I was looking at a tree that was still standing, but it was dead, right?
Yeah.
Or dead. It was clearly, it had no leaves, it had no bark, and it was disintegrating into the ground. And I thought, why do I think of this as dead? Why is this any less life than the tree that is with leaves and looking younger? Because this tree is also doing life. It's feeding the ground, which will feed the earth, which will feed the other trees. It's a continuous cycle. It was only a moment, but in that moment, I'm thinking this whole idea of death is this illusion. It's just a process. And we put a label that from here to there is life, and from there beyond is death, and before that is death. But this is not the way the universe is thinking about it. The universe is just doing life over and over again, right?
Absolutely. Such a beautiful insight, beautiful example. So on one hand, yes, a live tree, young tree, a dead tree, serving life in different ways, yeah. And when we compare these two, then in the relative dimension, yes, this is a dead tree, this is a live tree. That is true, yeah. But they're still serving life in two different ways. But more importantly, we're always looking at comparison. One tree compare with another, then we have this judgment, we have this comparison, and then we have all kind of problem come with that, yeah, good and bad, right, wrong, should, shouldn't, this tree should die, shouldn't die, all of this stuff come up, right? Then we approaching life that way, relationship this way, our body this way, everything this way. But that is the problem we're recognizing. But another way to look at it is like, not only these two different trees serving life in two different ways in the two different stages, but if you look at the whole big tree, whole picture of life, the tree is existing in the larger context of life.
Yeah.
Then suddenly, beyond the comparison of these two trees, suddenly realizing, life is serving life. Without the dead tree, new life cannot come.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is all is well in the big picture. If you comparison, then you cannot, perceive truly all is well.
Yeah.
This is dead. How could it be well? But in the big picture, yeah, life is just perfect. One thing leading to another, one life feeding another life, one stage of life feeding another stage of life. That is a continuous cycle, continuous creation, continuous transformation. And life cannot exist without death. Death cannot exist without life. It's a whole spectrum. It's just one spectrum of continuation. So when you perceiving physically, then you're noticing the difference. Then you carry this label, good and bad, right, wrong, all the stuff come with it. When you're letting go of these labels, suddenly, oh, just pure energy. Now this pure energy is appearing in different form, in different stage of that tree's life. And that pure energy is still serving life not only in a visible way as we understand, but more so is in invisible way. It's continuously transforming to a new form of energy, new way of life.
Yeah. And this doesn't mean that I won't get sick. It just means that maybe I can understand the sickness as another form of energy. I can understand my own demise or my own falling apart as energy, right?
Absolutely. So even the diseased energy in the body is still energy.
Yeah.
And yet that expression is limited now. Once you say, okay, I experienced disease, I diagnosed whatever, it doesn't matter what diagnosis you have or not, it's any level of disease in the body. In a sense, it's a form of disease, right? Eventually leading to diagnosis. But before diagnosis, a lot of disease happened in the body already without you knowing. Yes. So the label, the diagnosis, is not that essential. But more importantly is your awareness of in your body energy. When the energy is contracted, limited, it's originally is pure, but it's conditioned by life, particularly by stress, by aging, whatever.
Yeah.
And then that energy is conditioned, is limited, its function. And you have a responsibility not only to learn from that, but responsibility to awakening the energy, shifting that pattern to more functional pattern. And that is what healing is about.
At some point, you're going to get old and your body will become something else.
Right.
And that is a form of energy happening as well.
So that is the second aspect, is really in touch with the essence of energy. The essence of energy does not depend on the expression of the energy. The expression of the energy can change different stage of life, including death, eventually change to different form. But the essence, the very essence of energy, very essence who we are, is eternal.
Yeah.
It's timeless. It's not affected by the relative dimension of we are experiencing, whether it's disease, whether another form of problems or suffering, limitation, so on. But the essence is continuing. So that sense, we're learning to discover these two things in Qigong. Yeah. One is the essence is pure, is eternal, timeless. On the other hand, the expression of that energy in this physical form can be limited, can be changing over the time of life. At the same time, it's conditioned by life itself. On the other hand, you have a choice, you have responsibility, you have a power to change the patterns, which is conditioned by life. You can consciously accessing the energy inside of your body to change the pattern from limitation to another level of functionality.
Yeah, and expansiveness.
Exactly, exactly. So these two things is working together. More you discover the essence, the more this pattern can shift to more functional.
Yeah.
And vice versa. More you shift in the pattern to more functional, the more you're getting closer to the essence. So that is the beauty. These two meaning appears like paradoxical, almost like opposite, contradictory. If you think mentally, Haola on one hand means all is well, on the other hand means improvement. It's like the mind thinking, how these two things could be possibly, working together. But as I explained to you, that's exactly how energy works.
This is so helpful. Thank you. And before we go, can you just tell me how you use Haola in your daily life? Like as you walk through the world, is it in your mind? Is it in your heart? How is Haola manifesting for you?
Yeah, so we start to practice Haola as a vibration. I shared this, in the beginning of the session. Haola, Haola, Haola. By doing that, you're energetically programming your body, programming your energy body in general. Okay, so that is one foundation. The second is you meditate on Haola, as I explained, the meaning, the energetic meaning. Then when you meditate on Haola, your mind starts expanding beyond the limitation you're perceiving, beyond the complaining we all have, beyond the judgment of life in general, recognizing, oh yeah, I forgot. In the oneness of pure energy, everything is evolving perfectly. Yeah. Oh, now I can relax more. Now I can detach from the complaining, from the stress a little bit. But then same time, oh, I have a responsibility to improve my own, not only life, but the function of my own body, mind, heart, spirit. Then that's kind of, you start to make a new choice. What a new choice. Allow me to tap into my potential. So that's the second aspect. Then the third aspect is, more importantly, as a result, become a way of life. A way of life. Like the paradigm, become a new paradigm, the way you are perceiving everything, approaching everything, choosing everything. So that is the outcome of that.
Thank you.
So another way give you example is like this. When I'm approaching something challenging, whether in life or business or in the organization, whatever it might be, I think of this like this. What is the vision? What is the highest vision I want for this particular matter, so to speak? What's the highest vision? It's like ideal. Then what is the worst thing can happen? How can I prepare myself for the worst thing can happen? Then from there, I can move from the worst scenario, move into the highest vision. So that's the application of Haola into life circumstances. That affected me, ongoing basis. How I dance with life, basically.
And your dance, the joy with which you dance is not dependent on the outcome of the situation.
Exactly. What you have, because once you recognize ultimately all is well, ultimately my essence is pure, is timeless. So I'm just playing a game here and having fun. If I'm playing a game, I want to have fun. So the joy just start coming out of you from a deeper place. Including less attachment to outcome. I mean, enjoying the process more. That's kind of my attitude.
Well, I'm so grateful. I promised you a short conversation. I think I've gone over the time I promised.
No, perfectly fine. I know every time I have a conversation, talk about what is important, I always have so much fun, Unless I have another meeting come up, I always allow my flexibility. So it's my pleasure to, share with you. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you. Can I just say one more thing, just so you know? I've been practicing to you every day now for, I think, 4 months.
Wonderful.
And the Haola part almost feels like I'm activating my vagus nerve when we're doing the Chen Qi.
Chen Qi, right.
Qi. It goes from down up. It's like pure energy just vibrating throughout. And I really didn't like that part at the beginning. And now I can't wait for it because it's like, oh, the big bang at the end. And then you just emerge so refreshed and happy. It's like taking an ice bath or something, But I was wondering if there's something to, the longest nerve in the body is the vagus nerve. And I was wondering if we're stimulating it when we're doing that sound.
Absolutely, your perception is very accurate. As I explained, the microcosmic orbit going down in the front, going up in the back, it's like another energy circuit in the body. So very much, very close to, in terms of location, to the entire central nervous system. And then, particular nerve system, including vagus nerves, responding to that energetic activation very strongly. But also the energetic meaning, as we explained today, also makes sense because the vagus system is about the level of relaxation, the level of resilience, responding to life in general. So the Haola is like covering the top and the bottom. You can think of the Haola is like energetically on the top, there's no limitation to it, yeah? And then the bottom, we are whatever we're experiencing as challenges, we're moving up that way. It makes sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that is what Haola is about. It's lifting up from wherever you're at towards the pure potential, towards unlimited potential, towards your full capacity. That's what it is.
That was a great bonus. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Yeah, so I'm glad you're enjoying your practice. Anything I can support, let me know. You know how to reach me.
Thank you, Master Mingtong.
Yeah, you're so welcome. You have a good night. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye for now. Bye.
Bye for now.